Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VIP show. I'm your host, Jose Estimuño. I told you guys in 2023 we're going to go big. We're going to get the brightest, smartest hustlers, entrepreneurs from all across the world to talk about not only successes, but talk about the challenges. And being here in Miami, obviously such a melting pot of immigrants, there's no better person to have on this show today than my brother Albert Shakhnazarov. Albert, man, welcome to the VIP show.
Thank you so much, Jose. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, I'm excited. You and I have a lot of things in common. Yeah. I know that your audience can relate to my story, and we can make a big impact. You know, sharing the challenges, you know, the struggles that we all went through that got us from the dirt to the top.
That's right, man. 100%. You know, I think, you know, I've gotten to work with you and get to know your story. Yeah. On a personal level. You're an immigrant as well as me. You were born in Russia in a refugee camp.
Yep.
You were there until you were 6 years old.
Yes.
So that's got to be, let me start there, because that's got to be embedded as part of who you are, right? It's not like you were there 2 months, 3 months. You were there 6 years, man.
Exactly.
What do you remember? Answer this question, right? Yeah. And then we'll talk business. But I want to know, tell me a happy memory. You living at the refugee camp, and tell me maybe not such a bad, maybe a tougher memory.
Yeah, you know, I didn't come from a rich family, right? Refugee camp, 350 square foot room, 2 twin beds, cooktop, public bathroom, public showers. But you know what? I had very good parents. I had parents that no matter the challenges, the struggles that we faced, no matter if we had a lot of food or very little food, you know, my father and my mother, they never failed to show us love. They never failed to give us encouragement, to be there with us. You know, we lived in a shithole, right? But if it didn't feel like it. And it didn't feel like it because of the love and support that we got from our parents. Because we knew that the reason why they were doing everything they were doing was so that way they could give us a better life, right? My father would escape from country to country just to find a safe place for us, right? And that safe place for the first 6 years was the refugee camp, you know, and the happy memories is being together, being as one, seeing how if we have to eat pasta, Jose, for entire 2 years because that's all we could afford, right? That's the best pasta we ever had because we're all sharing it together. And that was were the happy moments, knowing that no matter what, we got each other, right? The bad moments, the sad moments is hearing the gunshots, hearing the screams, knowing that there's soldiers out there, there's policemen out there that maybe they're corrupted, right? My father was beat up multiple times just simply because he came in, you know, 1-2 minutes late and the refugee camp was closing and they had to be there at a certain time, right? And seeing my dad being beat up, seeing my dad going through all these challenges, struggles, right? Those were the sad moments because of how powerless I felt, because I couldn't do anything. Wow,
man, it's amazing. And I wholeheartedly believe that those are the moments that make you stronger. I think you would not be the man today, father, husband, you got 3 kids, living in America today, multi-million-dollar company that you continue to build so successfully. The amount of young people, right, your staff, your employees that you are molding to be people that are going to take or are taking their destiny into their own hands.
Absolutely.
So what got you into the, you know, the sales industry and the coaching industry, sort of going from the refugee camp, coming later in life, coming to America to building the company you have today? Was there a path?
Yeah, so my father worked very, very hard, right? And we had a goal in mind. And the goal was to be able to get away from the refugee camp, to start to build a life, to be able to, you know, make Moscow, Russia our center of attention, where we start to build our whole lives upon. However, after the 6 years, Russia was going through a lot of changes, right? There were a lot of changes in terms of politics, breaking through from just, you know, the mindset of inviting immigrants in to no longer having immigrants come in. And there was a big group, you guys probably familiar here in the United States, it's called skinheads, right? And just because the difference of our, not even skin color, because I'm pretty white looking guy, right? it was more of our expressions, our hair, our eyes, the beard. We were basically judged by that, and we were now welcome no longer in Russia. So my dad worked very hard. He was a manager at multiple stores, and he built himself up right in that world. And one night, right outside of his business where he worked, he got beat up by 4 men, and they were all skinheads, to where they broke his right side, okay, into 100 pieces. Okay. The morning that I went to see my dad in the hospital, his whole face was swollen like this, big. They had to have 3 surgeries to just fix his collarbone. Right?
Man.
Not collarbone, how do you call it? Cheekbone.
Like, yeah, cheekbone.
The cheekbone. They had to fix the cheekbone. They had to put a metal here. He couldn't see from one eye.
Wow.
So we looked at this, and I truly believe that in every challenge, in every disaster, there's an opportunity. And the reason why we're sitting here today is because of that moment. So we looked at it and we said, we no longer can stay in Russia. We're fighters, right? We always look for ways to survive.
Yeah.
And here's another chance for us to be able to go from, going from Azerbaijan to Armenia to, Moscow to now going to, what's out there, what's bigger, what's the best. And it was America.
Wow.
It was the United States of America. And I remember us writing a letter, literally every single day, Jose, to White House, begging, showing what we're going through, showing the challenges that we're facing, how people are spray painting the cars, how people are breaking into our house, how my brother is getting beat up and buried in the snow, right? My father is going through a surgery, how we wanted just one chance. And after over 180 letters of us sending, okay, every single day, we finally get a response from the White House.
From the White House?
From the White House, saying that they will give us a sponsor, okay, to help refugees like us to come to the United States of America. We don't know where we're going. We have no family in the United States. We don't speak the language. We don't know the culture. All we know is here's our golden ticket to come to the land, right, where everybody's fighting to come to, where they say your dreams do come true. And we got a letter, and it says, we found you a sponsor. That sponsor is going to cover everything for 1 month. Food, shelter, hot water, you name it. For 1 month, everything's going to be covered. After 1 month, you're on your own.
Wow.
Right? And
how old were you when this?
So I was 14, turning 15.
Okay.
Yeah. And seeing this, right, I have now friends in Russia. I'm going to school, right? I have a girl that I like, right? And then as a 14, 15-year-old kid, you're not understanding, like, why do we have to go, right? Why do I have to leave everything behind? But the bigger picture is my dad, who's 40-something years old, has to restart his whole life completely, leaving family, friends, culture, everything he knows, everything that he built while coming to there for 14 years.
To
right?
give you guys an opportunity.
To give us, again, a better chance. So it's the constant sacrifice that my dad went through, right? And they said to us, you're going to go to Connecticut. Connecticut, we never, you watch movies, you see Los Angeles, you see Chicago, you see New York, Connecticut. What is Connecticut?
You see Connecticut.
So we're like, okay, let's find the map. We're looking at the map, and like, there's no Connecticut. And Connecticut is this tiny, right to the corner where New York City is. So we're doing the research. Connecticut is known for having a lot of trees.
You're like, okay.
That's we're motivated.
Yeah.
We're going there. So we're like, you know what? It doesn't matter. We just need another chance. We'll figure it out. And my dad came here with $1,000 in his pocket.
Wow.
Yeah. We didn't even have an opportunity to sell anything. We had 1 month. We had to go. We came to this country. It was very dark. JFK. From JFK, we took a shuttle to Connecticut. And this is like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. We walk in, and mind you, the house is probably like 2,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet. They gave us because of the amount of people we had. I have 2 brothers, 2 parents. They gave us 1 room to share for the kids, 1 room for my older brother. They gave 1 room for my parents, right? We have a kitchen, we have a living room, we have a dining room. And the rent at that time was like $950, okay? And we're like, first of all, we don't know how we have $1,000 in our pocket. The rent is $950. And the funny part, here's how our limiting beliefs work, and here's how our limited mindset works. We have all these rooms, right, Jose? We have a kitchen, we have a living room. And that night we all slept together in one bed. Because the only thing we know is how to stick together.
Yeah.
And as much as we had all this abundance to sleep in different rooms, we were not excited about the rooms.
No.
We were all together, slept in one room.
With one water, with AC.
That's what we know.
Yeah.
And even though we had the availability at that moment when we come to our new home in America, in Connecticut, we have so many different rooms, we still slept all together.
Yeah.
Because that's how our limiting belief, our limiting mindset was. And it felt good at that moment, right? But then I started to question as I started to grow up. Why did that night we slept all together instead of us saying, this is your room, this is your room, see you tomorrow morning? Because we were scared. Because we were fearful.
New country.
New country, new everything. It was again, going from, my dad working for 14 years before we had to move again, right? To restart again at that fear, restart again at the bottom, being an underdog once again in a new country.
Let me ask you a question on limiting beliefs, because I think it's so important, and mindset. And I know that you do this a lot through your university and your different programs. It's easy to not have limiting beliefs, or it's easy to think in abundance when you already have abundance, right? So it's a little easier for somebody, to maybe think about money and I'm gonna do all right when they're in this beautiful, place, Miami, look at this view, right? Yes. But when you're struggling and you can't pay the rent, when you're struggling and they're gonna foreclosure on your home, or you can't even have food to eat, it's a little harder to live in abundance, and it's a little harder to get rid of the limiting beliefs when you're going through a tough time.
100%.
So how do you beat the limiting belief when you're going through a tough time?
So I believe there's different levels of intelligence, right? There's a basic intelligence, reading, speaking, writing, right? There's, intelligence of spirituality. And if your intelligence of spirituality is high, that means you know how to work with your faith. You know how to have that belief that you're not where you need to be, but doesn't mean that's where your story ends. That there's more out there in the future. There's more out there that you can do. So it's having that spiritual intelligence to believe that this is not the end, that this is just the beginning, and that you have the ability to change your circumstances. You have the ability to create whatever it is that you want to create. The problem with most people, Jose, is that they give the universe too much control instead of taking the control. They say, you know what? I'm a good person. I go to church, I go to the mosque, I don't cheat, I don't steal, I pay my taxes. So God, the universe, is going to take care of me. And the truth is, the God, the universe, already is taking care of you by putting you in a position of opportunities. But if you never do anything about those opportunities, you will always remain in the same spot. So it's the mixture of having spiritual intelligence, right? Where you go and have faith, but also knowing that here are my blessings. How do I make the most out of those blessings? It's being resourceful, right? Taking the proper action. And when you take proper action, being resourceful, combined with the spiritual intelligence, you start to build self-belief. Your self-esteem goes high. You start to notice things that other people don't notice. You start to feel good about yourself. And then you start to see progression. And that progression is the light at the end of the tunnel that allows you to see further. And you say, you know what? The light is getting bigger. The light is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I'm getting closer.
Finally, you get to the point to where you're the most happy. You are most fulfilled. You have all the resources that you always dreamed about because you had the faith to do so.
Wow, man, that's so powerful. I think it's incredibly, and it's so true. I mean, it's, because I feel like the universe is already doing, like as a basic standard, they're already putting a roof over your head. They're giving you water. You live in a great country, but if you want to go towards bigger things, then you gotta, get off your ass and go get it done.
You know how I know the universe is on my side?
How?
Is when I wake up every morning and I can see, I can feel, I can taste, I can move my hands, and I know that I'm alive.
Yeah.
That tells me the universe is on my side.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else.
The rest is on you.
The rest is on me.
Yeah.
As long as I'm breathing, right? As long as there's air in these lungs, I can do it. I can, that's it. Heart is beating. I can do anything that I set my mind to.
Yeah,
Nothing can stop me.
I love it, man. And that's, I think we need more people to have that type of mentality, man. That just go get it done. I mean, And whether you're listening to this podcast and you're in America or you're in Latin America, Europe, it doesn't matter. You have to take, I feel like people have to take responsibility into their own hand. Everything that happens to you, good or bad, it is your fault.
I agree. I couldn't.
Don't take it personal. It's your fault. But guess what? Since you know it's your fault, you can go and actually go fix it.
Right. So to me, the reason why people don't take responsibility is because they're not looking from a logical point of view, but they're looking at it from an emotional point of view. Because of how you feel, this is how you respond.
Yeah.
Right? And
So you feel down, you're gonna act. Down.
you're gonna say the world's against me.
Yeah. The economy,
everybody's
inflation.
here to get you, right?
Yeah.
Some people say I got haters. Everybody's hating on me. Bro, you haven't done shit for anyone to hate on you. Nobody even knows who you are, right? But then you are in your own head thinking the whole world's against you. Everybody's hating on you. Everybody's wishing bad upon you. That, the people are sitting there and praying for your downfall. The truth is, no one even knows who you are.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you're sitting on a couch watching Netflix and you're not doing jack shit.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
100%. I think that's 100%. And then another issue I think people have is that people think too much of what others are gonna say.
Yes.
What is my opinion? Like, what are people gonna say? What is people's opinions of me? And I think it reminds me of what you said is, brother or sister, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares. No one cares about you. Exactly. But take it almost in a good way. No one cares. And this is another thing that I always tell people, people's opinions of you is their business. Yeah. It's none of your business what people think of you. Exactly. So hence, since it's none of your business what they're thinking, you should go do whatever the heck makes you happy. You should go do whatever's going to benefit you, your family, your team, your company. Yes. Because if you're thinking, oh, what are people going to say if I do this? Then you're not going to do it in the right way. You're not going to be in the energy that people need to be at.
I believe in vibrating in a high energy, right? Yeah. You vibrate in a low energy, you're gonna have a low quality of life. You vibrate at a high energy, you start to meet high level people, you're gonna start to have high level experiences. You're gonna expose yourself to a higher things, right? And the thing is, people would sit there, right? And they would not take a step forward, Jose, because of what other people think of them. Yeah. And when I teach people, right, when I sit down with anyone, I ask them, right, how affected are you of what other people think of you? And they say, oh, nothing, I don't care. I say, okay, so let me tell you, if I tell you right now that this person doesn't like you, how does that make you feel? Well, it's gonna bother me. But you just told me you're not affected by it.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
We as humans, we're afraid to be emotionally honest with ourselves. And the problem is, think about it, if somebody's an alcoholic, and they go to those meetings, the AA meetings, right? The first thing they have to do is admit that they have a problem. Yeah. Hi, my name is Albert, I'm an alcoholic. Yep. Right?
That's the first thing you do.
If you don't do that, you will never fix that problem. And this is what happens with most people. They're so emotionally dishonest with themselves that nowadays everything is a filter, everything is fake, everything is not real, let me pretend. Right? So they're living in a completely different world, right? Not liking who they are, not working on becoming who they need to be, and they pass 30, 40, 20 years of their life living in this fabricated life. And then they say, I don't like myself. I don't like who I have become, and I care about what people think of me. And it's simply the reason why you care what people think of you is because you don't think of yourself as a high value man or high value woman.
That's right. Wow, that's so important. I mean, woo, that's a straight nugget right there. People need to take responsibility, and I think that's one of the first steps. You need to understand that, hi, I'm an alcoholic, or got an issue, I'm not making sales, or whatever the case may be. Right. I'm overweight, I need to lose weight. I mean, you got to take responsibility, and then you got to follow it by action. Talk to me for people, entrepreneurs who blame the economy, who blame inflation, blame the president for not being to the level that they need to perform at. Right. What are some of the teachings maybe when it comes to sales, for example, that you teach your staff, right, to hit their numbers every single month?
Right. So when you point a finger, 3 point back at you.
Okay.
Right. So what happens is I'm sitting there and I'm saying, oh, it's Biden's fault, it's Trump's fault, it's my state's fault. Oh, you know what? I'm not where I want to be because of this guy or this woman. What you're doing is, again, you're giving up control to everyone else. I say to people all the time, control the controllable. You can't control what's going on in the White House. You don't control what Trump or Biden is doing. You don't control the economy, but you can control your own economy. You can control your own action. You can control your own attitude, right? And if you're allowing poor economy to determine your action, that's the reason why you're poor.
Because you're taking poor actions because in your head you're like, okay, it's a poor economy, so I'm already doomed. So I'm not gonna make that sale because people the person I'm gonna try to sell this to is struggling, so they're not gonna be able to pay me.
The funny part is people say, don't compare me to other people, right? They always say that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, don't compare me to what's going on in the world. And I say to them, I'm not, you are.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the reason why you're stuck where you are is because you're telling me it's okay to be broke, it's okay to be poor because the economy is down. No, wherever there's a challenge, there's an opportunity.
That's right.
Right? So if you start to change your perspective and you start to change the way you view things, the things that you view start to change. So if you go out there and say economy is down, right? How can I bring you back up?
Yeah.
How do we make economy better? Well, it starts with what we do. And if I can go out there and take care of my own economy,
You're making the whole economy better.
you're making, maybe you're not making the whole economy better, but you're making a difference of making a step forward and knowing, you know what? Economy yesterday was 100% down, today's 99 because of the action.
Because of that little action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I believe that a lot of people, they utilize the environment and conditions of what's going on in the world to make it normal for themselves, to admit that it's okay to be broke because everybody in the world is broke.
Yeah.
It's okay to be down because everybody in the world is down right now. No, it's not okay. If you're gonna go out there and do what everybody else is doing, you're gonna have what everyone else has.
That's right. Wow.
So you gotta go out there and say, what is the masses doing? Masses is doing this, I gotta
I
do
gotta do
the
the
opposite.
opposite.
Because if you do the opposite of what everyone else is doing, you're gonna have what opposite of what everyone else has.
Wow.
Which is success, which is peace of mind, right? I made the most money in my career during 2020 pandemic. Because everybody was locked up, everybody was scared, everybody thought the world's coming to an end. I was like, let me go and do while everybody's resting.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy, Jose? It's so much easier to win the race when no one else is running.
Yeah. Look, and I tell this to people, all the time. Right now, same with pandemic, and now with the economy, people say, "Oh, Jose, like I don't have or maybe I don't have enough money, or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe no, I don't have enough money, but I shouldn't do marketing right now because no one's gonna buy." The other way around, folks. Now is the time to do marketing. Exactly. Now is the time to knock on doors because there's so many people that are saying, "Man, I'm not gonna go knock on the door because the economy is bad. So who's gonna buy from me?"
Exactly.
And it's called the 1% for a reason.
Right.
It's called the 1% because most people are not willing to do the hard work. But if you're doing the hard work, right? You're grinding. You're outworking everybody, right? I know this because I see you always active, man, on social media, always doing your thing,
100%.
training your team. So, talk to me. Do you believe in the power of manifestation?
100%. Right. But I also, it's a very gray line, and I want to make sure that the audience, anyone that's listening to this podcast, that they understand. Right. I love the power of manifestation. But there's nothing that's gonna come into fruition if you don't water it, if you don't put sunlight to it, if you don't work on it. Because I see people all the time. They go home, they watch Secret, right? And they say the law of attraction, right? I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna think about money all day long. I'm gonna smell like money. I'm going to paint my room green. I'm gonna attract everything. And then they sit on the couch and they're eating Cheetos and watching the latest Netflix show and hoping that some God or universe will knock on the door and say, here's your $1 million.
Here's the briefcase.
Yeah, I think manifestation has to work with action.
Yeah.
Right?
So manifestation works, but you got to do the work.
You got to do the work. And I'm telling you that we all so blessed and fortunate. The universe gives us exactly what we ask for.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We just don't know how to receive it.
We don't know how to receive it.
That's it. That's it. I'm gonna share a quick story with you.
Please.
I remember being 18 years old, okay, and I'm broke, like dead broke. And I'm not sure if you remember those moments. You get mail
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of credit cards.
Yeah.
Because they know you turn 18. So
Oh, yeah.
like, let's get you in debt.
That's right.
Right? So I got this credit card, and I'm like, Capital One.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I qualify for. I have no idea anything. And I got this card, and I'm like, okay, I'm broke, but I have this trip coming up with a company that I was working for, and they're going to Las Vegas. And I said, this is perfect. This is perfect. So I opened the card, I put it in my pocket, boom, I'm going to Vegas. I said, you know what? Let me check how much it's for. And they gave me $1,500 limit. So I said, wow, I'm $1,500 limit.
Yeah.
I'm $1,500 richer than I was yesterday.
You feel
This
like
is great.
Yeah.
So instead of ordering the appetizer, okay, I'm looking at the entry, the dinner, the steaks and all that stuff. So I'm like, steak, I'm like, soda, give me fries. You know what? Give me extra mashed potatoes. Thank you very much. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Check time comes in. Everybody starts to pay. So I go in, I pull out my credit card. I feel good about myself. Slap it on the thing.
Bam.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Right? Next thing you know, the lady comes up to me. I'm sorry, sir, your card got declined. I said, I'm sorry, what was that? She goes, your card got declined. I said, got it. Like, I know there's money because I saw the letter. They told me it's $1,500 limit. So I know there's money. Run it again. She runs it again. Sir, it's not going through. I am freaking out, Jose. Like, I'm getting sweaty.
Yeah.
I got people, and I ate the steak. I'm like, am I gonna go do dishes? What's gonna happen, right? And this is what happens when you're 18-year-old and you don't know better, right? Going back to manifestation, not knowing how to receive the blessings that are given to you. She said, let me ask you, did you ever activate the card? And I said, activate? What is that? How do I activate the card?
How do I activate the card?
She goes, well, you have to call the number and you have to punch in a couple of things. So I think that's the problem. Try to activate the card. Call them. So I call them and they say, you didn't activate the card. So even though I got the blessing, I got the credit card, I was blessed to go on this trip, I just didn't know how to receive the blessing.
Because you didn't activate it.
Because I didn't activate.
Wow. So in life, I feel like the teaching is, you know, yes, the universe is ready to give you what you want, but you got to activate that mindset. You got to activate those thoughts.
Mindset, thoughts, action, belief. And then next thing you know, you start to receive.
Wow. That's, I mean, amazing. And it's powerful stuff. I mean, because people confuse it, like you said. People just want to sit in a couch, journal, I am rich, I am healthy, I'm wealthy. Yeah. But you got to go to the gym. You got to go do the things. You have to be in the attitude.
Can you imagine writing, I am healthy, I am happy, I am this, but then you look like this?
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
And then you're eating McDonald's, you're eating pizza. Your action, your intention, and your belief all have to be lined up.
Oh yeah, they need to match.
They need to match. If they're not aligned, right? If let's say you have good intention, you have a high belief, and you got no action, doesn't work. If one of those pieces,
good intention, high belief,
and action, right? If one of those is missing, you're not gonna get it. Here's the thing: you could have high belief, action, but you have a bad intention. Eventually, you're going to lose it. Right? You have a good intention, action, and then you start to put the work and you stop believing, you stop doing the work.
Boom. Wow.
So all three must align and match with each other. And when they're the highest point, highest energy, that's when you start to really reap the fruits of your hard work.
Let me ask you this. When you, especially at the beginning, when you were younger, and you were trying to get some of these high level contracts with some of these high telecommunications and folks like that, you were, at the beginning, and I admit this on my own, like it was tough for me when I was making $5K a month, $10K a month. It was, and it's a lot to do with what you said about action and having the high belief. Like it was hard for me to sit in a meeting. There was no Zoom back then, right? Yes. So everything was, so even worse, right? A little harder. You have to be in front of people and you gotta say, hey, here's the 6-month, 30K contract or 100K contract, 20K a month, 50K. How did you beat those limiting beliefs? Because you're like, okay, I'm not like, I'm there yet, but I'm not there yet. I'm not making that much money, and I'm going against people who are a lot more successful companies. How do you play at their level, even though you're not at their level when it comes to the bank account at that moment?
So I had no other choice, and the reason why I say that, and a lot of people can relate to this because they're gonna say it's the immigrant hustle, right? To me, I may not have the skill. I may not have the experience. But you put me in a room with another man or a woman, it doesn't matter. And we both go on a treadmill and we both have to run. I will stay on that treadmill longer than you because I have that resiliency. I cannot fail. I cannot let my family down. I'm here to win. So people feed off your energy. That's why I believe in vibrating higher. Because if somebody likes you, if somebody feels that energy that you're just unstoppable, they're going to bet on you.
They're going to bet on you. They're going to want to work with you.
And I am that underdog. Yeah. I am that freaking horse.
Yeah.
That everyone says, oh, he has no experience. He's not built that way. But I got heart.
Yeah.
And that heart can carry me throughout any journey. And I'm willing to die because I want to win.
Yeah. Wow, man. Be beautiful and so powerful.
Thank you.
We need more people like you. And I agree with you, man, about the immigrant mentality, the immigrant hustle. Yes. People, I mean, and by the way, many people who were born in America can have that same hustle. But I think immigrants have that special thing that they don't take anything for granted because they know that in their countries they did not have that opportunity. So they're going to come here, not waste any time. Let me talk to you about family.
Yes.
You got 4 kids?
3 kids.
You got 3 kids. Okay.
Yeah.
You got 3 kids. Boy, girl.
So I have 2 girls.
2 girls.
And 1 boy. 6, Mila. She's a girl. Okay, my firstborn. Changed my whole life. Changed my perspective on everything. I'm talking about like getting that pump of changing of who I am. I was operating here and I thought I was the man.
Yeah.
When she was born, it's like I got a second heart.
Yeah.
I went boom. I said I gotta reach higher steps. I gotta go out there and do bigger things. I have a son who is Leonidas, 4 years old, turning 5 in May, and this guy, he's a fighter. And the reason why I named him Leonidas is because of my favorite movie 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, the King Leonidas. So when he was born, that was the person that was gonna carry my legacy. That's gonna be my son, you know. And where I come from is the son that takes the throne, right?
Yeah.
And in my family now, like even the mindset that I was able to instill into my daughter, it doesn't matter if you're a daughter or son, they both want the throne, they both want to leave with the impact, they both want to leave with the legacy. But I named him Leonidas because I wanted to replicate another version of who I am in a male version of being strong, being powerful, being protective, right? Willing to go out there and make a huge impact for his family. Because growing up, how I grew up is the man that needs to provide, is the man that needs to be strong.
Same here,
right? So I wanted my son to have a strong name and strong character to go out there and be that person. And last one is my daughter Leah, 5-month-old.
Wow.
You know, me and my wife, you know, we always talk about having kids, and you know, and we said, you know, let's go after one more.
Yeah.
Right? And we said it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And we got a 3rd one, and it was a girl, and she's just now. When I was getting comfortable, money's coming in, success is coming in, you know, getting better, but contacts are getting better. You start to see that sometimes you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And seeing my 3rd daughter come to the world, I said, wow, I need to be able to not only be in this level, I need to make sure that my kids' are in a position where we live in a beautiful abundance life forever. So those are my 3 kids.
Wow, man, that's beautiful, and it's so important. I agree with that. I got two girls, right? Mia and Maya. Mia is 3, almost 4, and Maya is 11 months. So, so I haven't had a boy yet.
Yeah.
Right, but I think obviously girls, obviously they control their dads and they do whatever it is that they want with us. But my question to you is, how do you balance being a successful entrepreneur? You got to put in a bunch of long hours, being a good husband, spending time with your wife, and then being a good dad and being able to spend time with them. How do you manage it all?
So I don't believe in balance, and I don't believe in managing time. I believe in managing my focus. So to me, what's important, right? If I'm in my business and if I have my meetings, my trainings, I'm gonna give that business 110%. I'm not worried about what's going on in my house. I'm not worried what's going on with my kids. I have an amazing partner, my wife, who is in charge of my empire at home, right? And I have to trust her to be able to run that empire, because I can't be in two places at the same time. And it would be so unfair to my business, to the people, to people that pay me for training or whatever the case may be, if I'm giving them 50%. I want to give them 100%.
Yeah.
And the same rule applies to my family. If I am at home, right, and I know it's a family night, and I know that we're playing games, I'm gonna give my kids, my family 100%, because I want to make sure they feel it. I'd rather spend 1 hour giving 100% than spend 5 hours giving 10%.
That's right.
Because at the end, I gave them 50%, rather than me giving them 100%.
Amazing. I love it, and it's so very true. It's more about quality than quantity.
100%.
Yeah, and kids remember a lot of stuff, man. When they're little, I mean, you remember being in the refugee camp, right, for 6 years. So, Mila, right?
Yes.
She's 6?
6.
So she's remembering everything. She remembers dad comes home, da da da. But again, she'd rather be with you for an hour, like all attention. Yes. Dad, look what look at my school stuff, look what I'm doing, than you spending 3 hours with them and being on the phone all the whole time.
Exactly. And you know this as a parent, right? I know you know this. Kids don't pay attention to what you say; they pay attention to what you do.
That's right.
You know, you can tell your kids to be a good person. You can tell your kids to make your bed, eat your veggies. The first thing they're gonna look at is you. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Right?
Are you eating your bed?
Are you doing what you're telling me to do?
Yeah.
Because we lead by example, not by our words. Right? I have this thing. I said, don't be a preacher, be a teacher. Right? Because a preacher goes out there and tells everybody what to do, but they don't know how to do it themselves, or they're not doing it.
Yeah.
But the teacher is living that life because they're able to teach somebody how to do it, because they have action that supports their words. And like my daughter, she pays attention to what I do. Every night I pick my clothes and what I'm gonna wear the next day, because I don't like to wake up in the morning and think what am I gonna
think
wear.
about it. Yeah.
So she started to do that.
Wow.
So she started to say, you know what, Daddy, I'm gonna go pick up my clothes for tomorrow. I don't want to wake up and do it. And I could have told her to do that, but it would be less impactful by her seeing me doing it without me telling her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's actually, I might have to apply that in my own family. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Going back to the sales and someone like the mentality. You have a university. You have an educational platform where you teach people how to become better humans, right? Mentally, spiritually, in business. What are some of the things that people can learn if they were to join the university?
The first thing, I mean, we spend about 15 hours, Jose, working on self-conception, ideal self, self-belief, self-esteem, confidence. You could have the most skill in the world, but if you're not confident, if you don't believe in yourself, and if you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking that you're worthless, you're just not going to get anywhere. So for the first 15 hours of our course, what we work on is your mindset. Being able to let go of all these labels, of all this programming that you got when you were younger. I'm gonna say this to you because this is very important. All the audience that are listening, you're going to get robbed by the people that love you more than the people that don't love you. And what do I mean by that? They're going to steal your dream, because people that love you doesn't necessarily give you good advice.
It's true. I mean, many times our own parents, obviously, like for example, with social media or the digital economy, they don't know anything. Because they're like, no, don't spend time on doing ads, or don't do Facebook. And I don't mean Facebook like you're struggling to. I mean like using Facebook ads and or using social media for growth, right? For content. Like your parents wouldn't understand, why are you doing videos and telling people, like all that stuff. They don't understand, because the way people consume information today is a lot different than what our parents,
What really makes no sense, and this is how I know people react emotionally and they make decisions emotionally, is that they go and ask their parents for financial advice. And their parents make $35,000, $45,000, $50,000. But the person that's asking for advice, they want to make $1 million. Why would you ask a person that never made $1 million, that does not have a desire to make $1 million, does not work towards $1 million, on how to make $1 million? All they know is how to make $35,000. You shouldn't ask your parents for financial advice unless they're wealthy or rich, right? Go ask your parents how to be a good husband, how to be a good parent, because that's what they specialize in. They don't specialize in making $1 million.
That's important, man. People need to do that. And you know why? I think people, like you said, people connect on an emotional level. So they think with emotion, oh, it's my dad, so I want to learn from him because I love him.
Yeah.
Your dad is going to love you just as much if you go learn from Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and bring more money to the house. I'm sure he'll love you just fine.
Exactly. Just because they love you doesn't mean they give you good advice.
So important. No, it's 100% true. For people to make, we talk about mindset. People right now they're in a struggle, right? They need to make a quick 30K, quick 40, 50K. How do they do it?
Fine. Here's the thing. I like to solve problems. And I say this all the time. If I'm going to solve anybody's problem, I'm going to solve rich people's problem because they pay well.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to go out there and I want to find a problem that I can solve or find a need that I can fulfill and charge for those services. If I can do that, I will make the most amount of money because there's no cap.
Yeah.
Right? It's the reason why dentists get paid is because they fix their teeth. There's either a problem, right? Or there's a desire. Or there's a need. So find somebody who has a pain, desire, or need, and fix those three. If you can do that, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Boom. 2023, we're still early on.
Yeah.
What are your goals? Sort of what are the things that Axe Elite, Albert, want to accomplish in 2023?
Right now, Axe Elite is in a very, very unique spot. Right now, we're doing a lot of work with $1 billion carrier, and we just got approached by another $1 billion carrier who wants to come in and play with us.
And what do you do for them?
We're basically, fulfill needs for all their clientele. So we're specialized in telecommunication technology solutions. So any problem with your phone service, internet service, you need some type of solution to be able to handle certain feature, to be able to create certain benefit for your clients. We'll look at that. We take a look at the cost. We take a look at the infrastructure. We take a look at the technology, and we say, okay, how do we save you money? How do we make this more productive? And how do we make it better? And that's what we do for those carriers. So right now, our goal is to be able to create, as much opportunity as we can for our people. We have the most sexiest, the best compensation plan in the technology industry. We have the best culture. We have the best leadership. Now we just need to be able to go out there and have more opportunities to be able to fulfill more seats and grow as fast as we can. So Axe Elite #1 goal for this year is to be able to grow.
Yeah, I love it. How important, you talk about making connections, right? How important is mentorship? And how important is sort of networking, mentorship? How important is like this human connection for people to learn from each other? Not just via Zoom or like consuming a YouTube video, but really having like deep conversations.
Yeah, I think the whole world came connect to this when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Right? People would appreciate the human connection much more by not having it. See, sometimes we take things for granted because we see each other every day, we talk to each other every day, we go to the office every day. But once that was taken away from us, we started to say, oh man, I miss it, I crave it, I want to be.
Who would have thought people miss meeting the office?
Exactly, they're like, I miss the office, right? So when COVID happened, my office, we were the first ones. We said, we're not shutting down. Every call center, you name it, they said, we're not working. The whole country is going to cahoots, pandemic, lockdown, no one's working. We as a company, we carried the entire team. We said, we're going to pay you, even though if the country is shut down, they lock down, we're going to do our best to call, to work, to do whatever we can. You don't make sales, we will carry you.
Wow.
Government's giving you a stimulus package. Axe Elite has its own stimulus package.
Wow.
And we went and we took care of the people, right? And you know what's crazy, Jose? When you take care of people, people will take care of you. We grew by 800% during the worst economy, pandemic, when everybody shut down. People said, how are you guys are operating? Because we all believed in one thing, is that we're not going to stop, we're not going to be defeated. We came, we saw, and we conquered. That was our mindset. And then we started to have people that start to reach out to us and say, I want to work with you guys. Right now, the job that I was working with, they're not paying me. There's no opportunity. I'm stuck. I need to feed my family. Can I work with you? And people start to hear about us and how we were courageous enough not to shut down our operation. And we made everybody work from home. And then as soon as things kind of got smoother, everybody came back to the office. We hired a medical facility that would come to us and test everybody multiple times a week to create safety for everybody.
Wow.
All that cost us a lot of money, but we didn't care about being profitable. We didn't care about making a lot of money. We cared about building an opportunity and community that believed in one thing, that anyone can go from average to elite as long as they believe, as long as they have the right mentorship, right people that are going to encourage them to do better. So for me, I believe in mentorship, but I think a lot of people confuse the mentorship because they think mentorship is supposed to about give, right? Or take, right? They never want to give back. So if you have a mentor, if you have somebody you're working with, the mentor's job is to educate you, push you, hold you accountable, have moral authority, right? Guide you in the right direction. But it's also your responsibility to make sure that mentor that's mentoring you does not lose interest in mentoring you.
Yeah, exactly. So they gotta see that you have the energy, that you're hungry.
That you're also doing something in return. That you're somehow, some way nurturing that relationship. Because if you're the type of person that only takes but never gives, why would that mentor invest more time into you?
Yeah.
What's their reason? What's the value behind that? So I would say mentorship is extremely important, but a lot of people abuse it and they don't know how to nurture that relationship.
Well, I think that's a very important point that not many people just say, people feel, and especially like I think your generation, like our generation and the generation younger than us, a lot of folks feel entitled. They're like, oh no, I'm supposed to get all this stuff. I'm supposed to get like all this mentorship because I'm cool now, and like whatever. And like it's just not true. What type of legacy does Albert Shakhnazarov want to leave in this world?
You know, it's an amazing question, and this is the question that I ask myself every single day. You know, every day I wake up, I tell myself, I really want to meet at least 2 people today, okay, that I can help. So the legacy that I want to leave, that I wasn't the guy that came to this world to take things. I came to this world, I took, but I also gave. That I was able to impact people in the ways that last for generations. Let's just say, 100 years from now, somebody says, hey, Dad, how did we make it to become financially free? And my name comes up after 100 years later. My dad had a friend whose name was Albert Shakhnazarov, who believed in him, who showed him a way, who taught him sales, who put him in a position of opportunities. And they worked together. And my dad became successful. And from that point on, my dad passed all those lessons to me, and today we're living a great life. That's the type of impact, that's the type of legacy I want to leave. So that way my name, my last name, Shakhnazarov, has a strong impact of noise that changes people's lives forever, not for a moment.
Thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you.